Ready?
Yeah. We're live! We haven't done a live stream for so long.
Live from the hospital. It's Peter
Monday
and Mary.
morning.
It's our Monday vlog.
Here we are.
We decided to have our vlog be live today.
Yes.
Because many of you know we have been taking Sundays off of filming. And yesterday we were like, well, we don't really have a video planned for Monday, so let's make a live video.
Yeah. And we haven't done a live video in so long, except yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday we went live on Mary's Insta. Well, this was funny. Leave a comment if you joined in on the Instagram live stream yesterday, because I was at the house. I went home yesterday after church, and I had things to work on at the house, fulfill orders for my online store, and these comments are coming so fast I can't read them, but that's okay. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for hanging out. So Mary and I were FaceTiming, and I was like, we should go live and on Instagram, because you can do two people at once. And it was basically like eavesdropping on that conversation. So that was fun.
Meaning we were just FaceTiming like normal and you guys could just happen to watch.
Yeah.
So it was fun, and we got some screenshots from you guys, which was fun to see. It's fun to see it from your perspective.
Yeah.
And anyway, so here we are in the hospital. Although I guess you can't really tell because we have this epic backdrop.
I know. Look at that.
So it just happened to be here. I guess somebody in the past decorated this headboard area. It's basically just a board, which is normal. That's in all these hospital rooms. And then they brought these sticker dots, like vinyl dots, I guess. And I love it. I think it's so bright and fun. And Peter was like, well, you see that one's missing here.
Yeah, look, there's one missing. This whole thing, and it's missing one. So we're like, we should make this a Frey Life gold and silver dot board.
Yeah.
And Mary's got one of our,
since it's a circle,
Frey Life stickers. Just gonna add it in there. Nice.
Does that work?
That's awesome.
So if you're ever in this hospital room, let us know if our Frey Life sticker is still there. I mean, it completes the ensemble.
Yeah, seriously. Look.
So
there it is. It kind of sticks out like a sore thumb.
I guess.
But
that'll be funny.
Here, you guys want to...
Hey, Sarah!
Hey. You guys want to tour from where we're sitting of our hospital room? Here we go. I'm going to spin the computer. There's Mary's IV pole. There's the bench where I sleep. Bathroom. We've got the Boston Marathon on the TV. Nurses station. Sorry, that was very shaky. But, you know.
I still don't understand why there's that huge gap between the mattress and the headboard.
Yeah.
It causes lots of pillow foliage.
Pillow foliage.
That's actually a
term. It's a real, like, medical term.
Yeah.
So, she's got a bad case of the pillow foliage.
How do we feel about this being, like, a down angle? Like, we're like, hey
guys.
Welcome to all our chins.
Yeah. I shared this on Instagram yesterday, but yesterday before church, I was trimming my beard, and I took a chunk out of my beard right there. And it was really this moment of crisis. Like, do I shave my beard now? Like, what do I do? I was like, you know what? I can just kind of brush it, and it'll grow back in.
Do you see his little leg quivering?
Oh.
I don't understand if he's having like a muscle spasm.
Well, it is a very rainy day, and so we had a very wet poodle on our hands after he and I took a walk this morning. And so Mary's going to put a sheet over him.
I don't know if he's cold or what.
Anyways.
Is it okay?
You guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out and saying hi.
So we announced this on Twitter. I can't even handle it.
Do you want
it grosses me out.
That it goes down there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll just like, ow. Maybe it's because my blood sugar is low.
Okay.
I
Here,
can't.
you want some
handle
nice
it.
coffee? Oh yes,
Okay.
chicken nuggets and gravy.
Yes.
We're gonna do that today.
We'll do that. We'll still do that. Should we?
Well, a little later maybe.
Yeah.
So
anyway, we announced it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
here, maybe I should share this actual link.
Oh yeah,
Here,
we used to do that.
You talk to them while I share.
Hospital hair don't care, except I kind of do care. It's kind of driving me nuts. Do you feel me? Do you feel me?
I feel you.
Okay. Hey, you say my hair looks crazy?
Yep.
Yep.
Just kidding.
All right. So, anyway,
But I don't know if that means I don't even know. I don't know if people have a holiday today elsewhere.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
It's not a holiday. Yeah, my chest PT therapist person yesterday said it's not even a holiday in like Western Massachusetts. Because I was wondering because somebody said to me Monday's a holiday, and I was like, it is? Like, what am I missing? Is it because I'm in the hospital? I'm like out of touch with reality? Which is probably true. You kind of get in like this time warp, which it was funny. The doctor who was on the night that we were admitted, he came back to like check on us. And he was like, I haven't seen you for a couple days. I was like, 11.
Sorry.
I was like, it's been 11 days I've been in here. And he's like, what? And I was like, yeah, time warp. Like, it happens.
Yeah. Okay. Tweeting right now.
Oh, good. Heather's going to let us know if she ever gets admitted to this room. Our stickers here.
Nice. Oh, wow.
So, did you share it however you wanted to share it?
I shared it on Facebook. No, I want to share it on Facebook. I just shared it on Twitter.
So hospital food ideas. We are going to order chicken strips because I think that's what chicken strips, not chicken nuggets. Chicken strips and mashed potatoes and gravy because that was. Did you have corn also? No, he's not much of a corn guy.
Especially not from a cafeteria.
But we're gonna order those things and have a throwback high school cafeteria lunch reminiscent meal. Mm-hmm. Do you remember when we did? We tried to make something out of the hospital food.
Yes, I think we have a vlog like hospital food creations, and I think we tried to make like basically boneless wings out of the chicken strips.
We both got so sick.
Yeah, that was gross.
Folkert said hello from Wales, which brings us, well, hello from Wales.
Yes, hello Wales.
Well, people from Wales.
Yeah, well, I was saying hello to the country of Wales.
Got it. Okay.
This is weird, guys.
This is weird. Are you ready for this? I don't know.
I don't think they're ready.
Basically, we both woke up this morning and I said, I had a dream about whales. The animal, whales. And Peter said, no way. So did I.
This is weird because we did not, like, it'd be one thing if we watched a show with whales last night or if we talked about whales. But there was no whale conversation going on. We didn't even talk about the country of Wales.
We didn't look at pictures of whales, nothing. And we both dreamt about whales. Now, are you done or you're still?
I can double task.
He says he can double task. No, he can't.
Okay.
Done?
Let me pin that comment.
Okay. Okay, so he'll tell his dream, and then I'll tell mine, and we will
try to make sense of it all.
Yes.
Okay, so I had a dream. Now, I'll preface this with, I don't usually remember my dreams, but I remembered parts of this dream. And I remember I think we were on a dock, like wood over the water where boats pull up and everything. And there were whales in the water. And we were like, wow, look, whales. And they were like swimming and coming up and surfacing and going down. And then there was this baby whale who came up on. Now, I remember the whale in a sink, and I'm not sure where the sink fits into the dream, but there was a sink, and the baby whale, like this big, it was this cute little whale, and it had a white spot on its nose, and the whale jumped into the sink. And the majority of the dream that I remember was me trying to convince Mary that we could take the whale home and raise it in the bathtub.
For sure.
But Mary was a Debbie Downer, and she was like, no, it's going to get too big, and we aren't going to be able to get it out of the house, and blah, 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 blah.
Get it out of the house? It's going to be stuck in our house?
Yeah. So she didn't let us take the whale home. That's all I remember of my dream.
So simultaneously, 12 feet across the room, I was dreaming as well. And my dream was a little bit more stressful than that, I'll say. We were on a ferry boat pulling out of the harbor. Same scenario. Pulling out. Oops, sorry, you were moving.
Okay.
Pulling out of the harbor, and we were on a ferry boat. Did I say that?
I don't know.
And we looked down, and there's this whale. Now, I did see that scenario actually happen in real life. What?
I saw somebody used to try to convince their mom to get a pet dolphin for the bathtub.
I mean,
great idea.
Yeah. Didn't we all?
Okay, so you're on a ferry boat.
So there was a whale in the harbor, and we were like, oh, that's amazing. But then it was like, wait a second, there's a lot of whales. Oh no, that guy can barely walk.
Oh wow.
We're watching the Boston Marathon.
People are carrying him across.
Oh
wow. You have a wheelchair for him.
Oh.
Oh wow.
Oh no, that is so sad.
But he finished.
He did.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry.
So the mom whale and the baby whale. So the mom whale pushes the baby whale up into the open door of this other ferry. And then that ferry had to like abandon ship. So like the captain of the boat was like jumping off into the water, which I was like, oh, wait, I know what my dream was from.
What?
I watched this video of this guy in the middle of the ocean on a paddleboard, and the giant squid was coming up onto his paddleboard.
Okay, that's cool.
But you didn't watch that video.
I did not watch that video. Why did I have a dream about a whale?
Yes. So anyway, so then that ferry boat was coming and crashing into our ferry boat. So then we had to drive our ferry boat on the highway. It's dream world. Anything goes, of course, everybody. So anyway, it was stressful.
But isn't that weird that we both dreamed about whales?
I think that's so weird.
Yeah.
It's almost...
wow. Lost signal.
Oh no.
This happened the other day. We were trying to watch American Idol and we lost the channel. Anyways.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's from the weather. It's great. It is so gross out there. Ollie and I went outside this morning for a walk, and I take him like a few blocks around the hospital, and there's like a grass yard where I let him run, and it's usually very enjoyable. This morning, it was like torrential downpour sideways into our faces, and we weathered it, but I was soaked after that.
And I felt so sad when they came back in. They were soaked. I mostly felt sad for Peter, because Ollie doesn't really matter. Somebody asked, what did we eat before we went to sleep? I was drinking a yogurt drink.
I had a sandwich, a turkey and avocado sandwich.
Does that lend for whale dreams?
Not that I can piece together.
Ah.
Wow.
Okay. So should we answer some Q&A questions?
Yeah. So Mary's in the hospital. It's been 11 days, and she's trucking away on this course of treatment. We it's hard to gauge at this point where her, like, where we're at with all that, just because, like,
progress, meaning.
yeah. We feel like we're doing the right thing, but it's hard to know, like, is it helping? I mean, I think there are things we can point to that it seems like it's doing something, but, like, infection-wise, it seems like it goes up and down in terms of what she's coughing up and all of that. So, and if you're new around here, Mary has cystic fibrosis, a genetic lung disease, and she's in the hospital to try to kick some of that infection down a little bit.
Yep. Kick it down.
Okay. Here's a question. What's the best part about being in the hospital? It's kind of a hard question.
Best part. I don't know. I guess getting to know the caring staff. Like, I know a lot of the nurses, but getting to know them more and experiencing their care, like their compassion. I feel like human connection is never a bad thing. Like, even if it's like connecting with the person who's at the register when you're checking out at the grocery store, like when you have a good smile and laugh together, and like a good human connection is never a bad thing. And although sometimes when I'm in the hospital, I'm like, oh, enough human connection. Like, I just need some alone time. It's good. Like, it's good. And people are sweet. And like we say, nice people are nice.
Nice people are nice.
Nice people are nice. And, like, I don't know. So I guess, like, human connection. But, I mean, ideally, I'd like to connect with humans outside the hospital. That would be great. But we are where we are.
I think I would say, like, if you had to, like, name a best part, I think for me it's knowing that we're in the right place. I think that reality of, like, knowing, like, Mary needed this and we're here for a purpose. Like, this isn't just like being secluded to a room for no reason. I don't know. I guess just reminding ourselves that this is what's best for our body.
Kirsty, we are so cheering for you. Kirsty has been around since Scotland.
Yeah, I remember that.
So good to see you. I'm so sorry to hear that you are on IVs. I think you said you're in the hospital, or maybe you're just on IVs. I'm not sure. Either way, she feels like she's hit a wall, and any advice. I know the feeling. I recently hit that wall, and I also saw somebody else ask, did you move your bed yet? No, I haven't. This room doesn't allow for very much
wiggle room.
But Kirsty, I don't know. I think everybody's a little bit different when they hit the wall. Do you want to do something creative? Do you want to paint a rock? Do you have paint with you? I don't know. If you're allowed out of your room, like, go outside, stretch your legs. I know these are my arms, but
I think this is kind of counterintuitive, but I think for Mary, like the other day, was it yesterday that the vlog was called Hitting a Wall in the Hospital? And I think part of, like, that process was, like, hitting the wall was necessary. You know, I guess, I don't know if that makes sense. I guess, like, you kind of had to have that breakdown moment of, so that you could move on from that.
Yeah, it's part of it.
And,
like, I mean, it's a slow process being in the hospital. And, like, the first couple days I was completely out of it because of reactions to the IVs. And, like, I wasn't even really present. I was just, like, having reactions and not really here, not really. And then the next couple days, I was like so thankful that I didn't have a fever and a headache and throwing up. So then that was fine. But we were like, then my blood counts dropped. So we were like working on things. And I think when I hit that wall, it was like, now I'm here just waiting to see if my blood counts drop more, or to see if my kidneys don't like it, or it's just like that waiting and stagnant feeling and sleep deprivation and all the things. And, you know, I think you're right. Like I have to like realize mentally it's like, ah. Then I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard, but it is what it is. And
she's a trooper. Like we give a snapshot in these vlogs of kind of, we try to show the range of emotions, the range of activities, the range of treatment, and all the share. Like there's a lot of, I think, weight that Mary carries, like just in her own care, and like she is an inspiration to so many people, and like carries other burdens along with them, and so like there are those moments where it's just all overwhelming, and
yeah.
you acknowledge that, and you kind of look at, okay, how do I take where I'm at and keep moving forward, and so she's a rock star. Thumbs up for Mary.
Thank you.
You guys could, can you give a thumbs up to
It
this
says
thing?
468
cool.
thumbs up.
Awesome.
So thank you.
Thanks for your thumbs ups, guys.
Yeah.
This video will be around for people to watch, and thanks for tuning in, and let's answer some more questions.
Okay, more questions. Let's see.
Okay.
Have you ever been told that they just... Okay, yeah. Have you ever... Kristen asked, have you ever been told that they just don't know what else to do for you? If so, how did you handle it?
That's a good question.
That is a very good question.
That's a hard moment to, like... Well, I think probably we could zoom out and look at your CF care over the last several years and look at the increasing realization of treatments aren't working like they used to. And how did you handle that?
Yeah. And I think also I've gotten to a part in my CF care that options are not plentiful for various reasons. So medications aren't working like they used to, like my bacteria have become resistant. And then you think, but we still need to try. We don't just give up, we still try. So we try different variations of medications and stuff, but then we have to deal with the side effects. And you know how when you're reading those side effects things, or you hear the side effects being read on a commercial on the TV, and they say, in very rare cases, you may experience lower than normal blood counts or whatever. Like, of course, sign me up, because that's what my body does. Sometimes I get those rare or random side effects that aren't typical. And so then we are faced with less options because of resistance and less options because of some side effects. And this hospital stay has been actually, in some ways, like very encouraging, because we've discovered a medication that we've only used it once so far, but it worked. And I didn't experience like many of the bad side effects from it. So it opens up my treatment options. But the reality is we still are at that place where it's like there's no perfect medication. And I think that's kind of what Kristen was getting at, like realizing there is no perfect medication, or maybe you're in a spot where you don't have a diagnosis. So you have a lot of symptoms and the doctors are like, okay, like you have these symptoms, but we don't know why. Or maybe you have a chronic illness and the medications have stopped working. And it's that feeling of like, how do we try to stay positive but realistic? And I think we try to walk that line of like we're going to keep trying these medications, and we're going to try to think positive, but we're also going to be realistic, and we're going to handle the troubles when they come. And
I think, so when Mary was younger, like a teenager, she could go on IV antibiotics and see a big improvement, whether numerically or just symptom-wise. And as time has gone on, the margin of improvement from IV antibiotics has decreased, and yet we still have to do them and try to suppress the infection, and sometimes like the side effects and the feeling awful from the IVs, it like feels like, is it even worth it? And all of those questions. And I think all of those are real emotions that pretty much, probably a lot of CF patients, but a lot of other patients face in their treatment. And it's an emotional process to process those things. And
because you're handling the physical realities of like the weight of the treatment, so like side effects and stuff, and then also the mental and emotional reality of this may or may not work. So then you're left with, is this worth it?
And I think there's also that like just feeling of defeat that you've got to go through this treatment, and at the other end you're not going to feel completely better, or you're not going to you're healthy is still sick, and that's hard.
Yeah, and also just looking at your personal history, like knowing that if you do feel that benefit, it will only last a certain number of weeks, days, months, however long. And I think I was getting to that point. I think I'm past it right now, but in the days following when I first started these IVs, I was so, like, that reaction was worse than it has been in the last couple years. And just like FYI, my reactions aren't anaphylactic or anything. It's not like an allergic reaction. It's my body or maybe my bacteria reacting, putting up a fight when these high, like, big gun antibiotics are introduced. And it happens with any antibiotic, and it happens in varying degrees. So this time I got a fever after the first dose. It gives me a headache, and then I'm vomiting, and it can happen a little bit gradually. This time it happened within a couple hours. Like, we went to bed, and then I was like realizing I'm getting a fever, and then I was like throwing up, and it was just like the whole thing. And it feels never ending in the moment. But then within a couple days, I was like, I don't want to do that again. I never want to go on IVs again. That's how it was feeling. But now I'm past it, I'm many days past it, and I'm like, all right, I lived through it. I can do it again whenever I have to. And we learn with more experiences. We learn tools that we can do for my body, sometimes giving Benadryl before, or using Tylenol or painkillers or whatever we need to do. And I'm already thinking through for the next time, what tools can we use to make it as doable as possible? And it's reality. And you guys, I know you guys deal with a lot of this sort of stuff too, maybe not from cystic fibrosis, but from various other conditions and medication issues.
Yep.
It is National Transplant Awareness Month.
Really?
April, yes. And
okay.
I'm enjoying seeing transplant awareness posts from friends who have had transplants. And I thought we would just answer one question about two questions. One, is transplant an option for me? We don't know the definitive answer, but when the time comes, yes, we are open to lung transplant. And the second question I wanted to answer was regarding transplant. When somebody, specifically when a cystic fibrosis patient gets a lung transplant, is that a cure? How would you answer that?
Great question. The answer is no.
And I think CF patients and non-CF patients ask that question. You know, like pre-transplant patients would ask, is this going to be a cure? And then people from the outside, they would ask, oh, you're getting a transplant. Is that a cure? So I think it's a very reasonable question to ask.
Yeah. And so, I mean, there's a couple facets to that, in that, number one, CF affects every part of the body. Like, it's at the cellular level, and so other organs are affected, and Mary's pancreas and her liver and spleen and those aspects continue if and when the time comes. And but there's also the reality of like lung transplant is a trading of one whole aspect of deteriorating lungs to the other aspect of a new organ in your body,
right,
where you are essentially fighting rejection in your body, and
right, or the trying to prevent rejection.
Yeah.
If you go on Instagram and type in like hashtag like lung transplant, you will see so many educational posts about it. And I would encourage you to just go like do some research if you are curious about certain questions or certain aspects to it. And so there's our little plug. And if you are not currently an organ donor and you would like to be, you can Google organ donation and
sign up.
It's super easy. I'm an organ donor. I'm not sure what organs would be able to be used. Maybe my eyes and my skin. I'm not exactly sure. Of course, nobody would want my lungs, but I hope that if possible, something can be used for good.
And so just to like go back to the question that we always get, like, are you eligible for a lung transplant and all those things? We are so thankful that we started having conversations about it last year as Mary's lung function was dropping. And since then, her lung function has come up and has been stable over the last few months. And we are grateful that that's not a conversation right now.
So for now, we are on pause with that conversation. And it's still always in the back of our minds, thinking forward to transplant. And we keep it in mind because we want to keep my body, we want to keep these lungs as strong and as healthy as possible for as long as possible. So we do all the work that we possibly can do. And two, to keep the rest of my body as healthy as possible and ready for whenever that day does come. That was one of the contributing factors when I got my feeding tube a year ago. I just saw a question, can you feel your feeding tube in your stomach? I think that's a really good question. Mine specifically is a J tube, so it goes into my jejunum, which was a surgical procedure where they took my intestines, my jejunum, and they say they made a chimney. I don't really know why they call it a chimney.
Well, if you think about it, here's your intestine. I'm making a long intestine out of my two fingers. Basically, I think what they do is they stable it together like that, so it's kind of like a chimney.
And then the feeding tube goes through my abdominal wall into the little chimney, right?
Yeah.
Hey, let me in.
So then, my arms are the rest of the intestines, and so basically
we're professionals.
Yeah, this is very medically accurate right now. And basically, the reason they did that was so that her feeding tube button, if you've seen the video, which has gone somewhat viral on YouTube, of Mary changing her feeding tube video, we show the little balloon inside. And that goes inside the chimney so that it doesn't go straight into the intestine and block the path. So it's kind of genius.
It is kind of genius.
Simply genius, but.
And so, no, I actually cannot feel it. I can't feel it most of the time. When it's working well, I can't feel it.
They compare it to a body piercing. Like, I mean, it basically is an extreme body piercing, but in the same way, you don't really feel your earrings most of the time.
Right.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Can we just pause and have an Ollie appreciation moment?
Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, can we just see all the awes in the comments? He is so cute. He looks like a little baby fetus poodle.
And because we've answered these questions before, I will point you to a couple different videos if you are curious. If you're curious, if you're new around here, hello and welcome. If you are curious about my service dog, you can, when we're done this video, you can type in service dog Q&A and you'll see our video come up.
all comments. I love it.
And you can hear all about Oliver and the process and hear more about him as a service dog. And then second question is like, how do you take care of him in the hospital? We actually did a whole video about it. How I take care of my service dog in the hospital, I believe is what it's called. So you can head over and watch those after our live stream. Let's see, what other?
And, another good video is tips for surviving the hospital. Remember that one?
No.
We like milked a cow and everything.
Oh, was that like 8 activities or something?
Yeah. I don't know what it's actually called, but it's something surviving the hospital.
Oh, that's funny.
And you like danced with your IV pole. And
that's right.
Filled up a glove with water and milked it.
How did we poke a hole in the end of the glove?
I think we used a needle.
Because they're plentiful around here.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Let's see. What other questions you guys have?
Do we have any food allergies?
Good question.
Nope.
No, we don't, thankfully. We have enough to deal with.
Let's see. Ooh, they're going fast.
Yeah. Let's see if I can.
This is the part of the video when we both go.
Huh?
Hi from England. Hi. Hi from Sweden.
Kelly asked Peter. Oh, and it just disappeared. It was something about, were you fully aware of Mary's disease and what it would entail when you got together?
That's a good question.
I'll answer that with a no. But we were friends in high school, and I knew about her having this lung disease, cystic fibrosis. But did I know what that entailed? No. Did Mary know what that entailed?
I was just going to say that.
No. And I think that's like, I feel like no one knows, like, I knew that it was something that, like, was a huge part of life, and that dating her and marrying her would make it a huge part of my life. But I didn't know, did I know we'd be spending this much time in the hospital? No. Did I know?
Nor did I.
That she'd have to get a feeding tube and all those aspects that we've walked through. No, but Mary and I truly believe that God gives us grace for the journey of life as it comes. And if I knew everything as a teenager dating Mary, would I be able to handle that, like, emotionally or like relationally? No, probably not. But God knew that and kind of walked me through the journey of preparing me for each step. And that's what we see is like there's new steps along the journey as Mary's disease progresses and as we have hospital stays or whatever else, and we feel like, wow, could we have handled this way back when? No, but we're doing it, and
Right.
so that's life. Life's a journey where you're always learning and growing, and um,
Yeah.
I think that's important to remember. Like, it's easy to compare your life to, say, Mary's. Like, say, you'd be like, well, um, I don't have to go through what she's going through, and so I just need to suck it up or whatever. But in reality, like, whatever you're walking through is a real, like, hard challenge in your life that you have to face and realize that this is hard for you. And I guess Mary and I kind of have a soapbox about not comparing suffering.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess a lot of times in conversations with friends or acquaintances, we'll be like, how's your week? And they'll say, like, oh, it was really hard. We were busy with the kids, blah, blah, blah. But that's nothing like what you're going through. And while we appreciate the perspective,
Yeah.
we really want them to realize that whatever they are walking through, whatever is hard for them, is hard.
Yeah.
And just as we think about, when I hear the helicopter land on the roof of the hospital, I think somebody is having the worst day of their life right now. It doesn't mean I should neglect the things that I'm like having challenges with. It means I want to keep perspective, but also continually bring my challenges to God and be like, I need help. Like, I have to walk through this. And He knows that, and He walks through it with us. So we don't want other people to feel like they need to downplay their own challenges. We want to encourage them, you guys, to like continue pushing on and seeking God's grace and walking through it.
Yeah. And so we feel like there's a difference between gaining perspective and comparing to the point of diminishing reality.
Yeah.
And so perspective, true perspective, doesn't diminish reality.
Right.
It just puts categories to understand reality. And so, anyways, that's our little for today's live stream.
Yeah. It's always that hard balance of saying, like, I appreciate that you see what we're walking through. Like, I appreciate that you acknowledged that it's hard for us, but I want you to acknowledge that what you're walking through is hard as well. So, yeah, perspective and what's the other bit?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I'm trying to read these comments. They're coming so fast.
Man. Oh, man. This is very fast.
Yeah, here we can pause it.
Do you have any tips for spreading awareness? Laura asked.
Or
advocating
for yourself in chronic illness. Tell your story. That's the best advocacy that there is for people to tell their story, whether it's with family and friends, or I think, like, not everybody is like a natural teacher or educator, but everybody has a story, and to tell your story is, I think, the most powerful advocacy. Yep. That's why we do what we do on YouTube.
I remember beginning to learn about telling my story. I was on a trip with our youth group, and we were on the beach, like, whatever, long story. But I remember meeting a family, and their little boy, I could see that he had a port. And I said, and we were hanging out with them and getting to know them. And I was like, guess what? I have a port too. And just from that connection, we were able to connect. And I shared a little bit of my story. They shared a little bit of theirs, and just that human connection, like we were talking about. And that taught me, like, okay, I can share my story with strangers who then aren't strangers anymore. And that fed into me being willing to share with our church, or with somebody who asked about my IV tube hanging out or whatever, and learning to share. And then when Peter and I started vlogging, I was learning how to share in a different way with people I may never meet, and seeing the encouragement from getting to know so many people. Hi, buddy boy.
Hi.
Because he was in the rain, he was a wet dog, so we gave him a bath today.
Yep. So his curls are getting nice and crunchy, just how we like them. Oh my God, right here. So, yeah. Wow, things come so fast.
How old are we? Let's let them guess. If you are new around here, we are so glad you chose to click on this. Thank you. We are excited to get to know you guys in the comments as they go so fast. But let's guess. Let's have you guys guess how old we are.
23, 25, 28. Oh, people are answering.
Oh, great. I just forgot how old I am. But
Okay.
I'm...
Yes.
Yeah, I remember how old I am.
Oh, wait, what's today?
Oh, my goodness. It's almost
today?
Peter's birthday.
It's today
the 16th.
16th. Okay. In 1 month and 3 days, I will be 30 years old.
And
Crazy.
let's see what else. All right. Oh my goodness.
So how old are you?
So fast. Well, I am impressed that some people think I'm 25. Even 23, I will take it. Because sometimes, somebody thinks we're 52. So close, yet so far. A lot of times people think we're like, or they think I'm like, I don't know, 16, 18. I'm 28. He's 29, almost 30. We've been married for going on 8 years. We dated for 6 years before that. We met when we were like 4, 2, I don't know, little. And then started dating during high school, through college, and then got married.
Started dating when we were 5.
Yeah, we've been dating for 20 years. What are we going to do for Peter's 30th? Tell him what I almost bought us, and I still might buy us.
Wait.
An
We're
activity.
gonna buy something.
Tickets.
Yeah. Tickets? Yeah, what was that activity? Something weird, I thought.
Paintballing.
Paintball. I was like, what?
You would like it, right?
I mean, I've done it like twice in my life, but I just think that's so random. Hey, maybe. We talked about doing something else.
How do you make your hospital stay fun? We believe that life continues. We don't put our life on pause. We obviously still do our job. We still vlog, and thankfully he's the one who edits. So even if I'm sick and like blah, in the hospital bed, he can still edit. So we keep life going. We just decide to be present where we are.
Yeah.
And we decide to make the most of it, and we cry when we have to, and we try to laugh as much as possible. Yes, Rachel, you're so right. If I played paintball, I would need to wear a spleen guard. Should we tell the spleen guard story?
Sure.
When I was young, I was recommended to wear a spleen guard. I have an enlarged spleen. Usually your rib cage protects your spleen, but mine is like way below my rib cage. And so my pediatrician made a spleen guard, homemade spleen guard for me, and I was not a fan of it at 8 years old, or however old I was. How old was I? I must have been older than that, because we didn't find out about my liver till I was 10. Wait, Diabetic Danica, are you on here? I just saw somebody say, hi, Diabetic Danica. Danica, if you're here, hi. Oh, there you are. What do you think of the G6? The Dexcom G6, I am drooling over. I currently have the G4. Whoop, whoop. It's the one that my insurance approved, and I'm thankful for it. And I would love to try the G6 if the time comes and the insurance says yes. The G6 would be amazing. If you guys want to see the G6, you can go to Diabetic Danica's channel and watch her new video. What else? It's like you're talking about an iPhone. I know, right?
Mhm.
The new phone coming out. No, the new
That's
medical device, of course.
That's funny.
Whew.
Okay, somebody asked what they're going to medical school and what qualities in a doctor do you appreciate?
Oh my goodness. Conversation, like talking together about
A
things.
dialogue. Is that what you're saying? Like where your care is a dialogue between you and them?
Yes, I appreciate being in the loop.
Yeah.
I appreciate. I have questions. I'll be thinking about questions the week before we go, or even when I'm in the hospital, I'll type questions down on my phone, and then when they come in, I've got questions. This hospital stay, I haven't had many questions, but being willing to entertain my ridiculous questions, or like I'll be like, I saw an Instagram post about Neupogen. What is it? Would it work for me? And then they talk about it and they decide if it'll work. And it worked. But anyway, I think bedside manner is so huge. So huge.
I think, yeah. Well, I feel like that's like if you're comparing doctors who are equally competent, like clearly bedside manner is the better. But you want a doctor who's competent. Well, and I think who is takes the time to listen and think outside the box and just and think holistically. I think that's a big thing that is helpful. It's hard when you have you have to go to a specialist for certain things, and but that's one of the things when we're thinking about like if Mary has to go to a liver doctor, like do they know about CF? Because if they don't know about CF, they aren't going to be able to think holistically about how it relates to everything else going on, and all those things. But
I just saw a question. Addison asked, what is the funniest question that a nurse has asked you? Does anything come to mind?
yeah, Scotland.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a great story.
Oh, this was so awkward. It just made my kidneys jump, like that feeling, like, Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Okay. So we're in Scotland. I was admitted. I was in the hospital, and my nurse came in. And yes, Lucy already knows where we're going with this.
Yep.
So now I have to remember, how did the story even go?
Everybody's picking up on what story this is.
How did this go?
She comes in and she's like,
what was your BM?
Yeah, what was your BM?
And I was like, number 2. And I was like, so like offended by that. I was like, what do you mean? It was poop. Is that?
We'd have to go back and watch.
We'd have to watch.
There's a video about I don't know what the video is called, but it's one of our early vlogs in Scotland, and there was a translation issue between how they refer to blood sugar in the UK versus here, and we weren't familiar with BM for blood measurement, right? Blood measurement, is that what it stands for? I assume.
Yeah.
But Mary thought they were talking about a bowel movement.
BM, bowel movement. And I was like, well, I mean, she's allowed to ask anything she wants. She's a nurse and I'm in the hospital. But I was like, it was poop. Like, what do you want me to say? So when I said it was 2.
She was like, your blood sugar was 2?
And I was like, what? No. And then we realized miscommunication.
Did she get a laugh out of that, or
Yes.
was it just awkward?
I think she laughed.
Okay. That is
I
funny.
think. I hope. But anyway,
That is
so that was, but I think the most memorable questions that I've been asked were more from like doctors who were in their residency or fellowship or internship, like before they were like doctors. I've had people come in.
She calls those baby doctors
Because they're like on the
they're growing up as doctors,
yes.
but they're just baby doctors.
So
like an intern or whatever.
When the baby doctors come in and ask, "How's your cystic fibrosis doing today?" How do I answer that?
How's your cystic fibrosis doing?
How's your cystic fibrosis?
You should say it's salty and mucusy.
Yes, there you go.
That's funny.
Baby doctor.
This was fun. Right. Thanks for hanging out, guys.
Yes, thank you guys.
We thought we'd have a live vlog for today.
Thanks for hanging out in the hospital with us.
And you should go look up that BM story in our vlogs. If you go back to like probably September 2014.
I want to try to find it.
Probably when it was.
What was it called? I thought it was called something about misunderstanding.
Oh yeah, maybe.
But it didn't come up.
And shameless plug for our online store. You can get a free one of these stickers with any 8x10 right now on our online store. There's a link in the description of this video.
And Peter can pack orders when he goes home, so the online store is still live and active.
Yes.
Okay, so September, I'm on a mission to find this vlog.
Oh,
wait,
I don't know. I saw Scotland in the vlog,
but somebody's probably telling us.
Yeah.
So I'm like missing it while I'm looking for it.
Yes, we ship worldwide. So yes, we ship to Alaska.
We'd love to ship something to you in Alaska.
It's true.
Oh man. I feel like I'm wearing the green shirt.
Miscommunication.
Miscommunication.
That makes sense.
So, miscommunication. The Frey life. CF miscommunication about poop. And then
show them the like.
CF miscommunication about poop.
So
back when we would put poop in the title. I don't feel like we would do that anymore.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, thanks for hanging out, guys. We will, as always,
we will
see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody.